Hello again, punters, and welcome back to another episode of the Snapshot. I'm Ryan Cook. Tommy Rockliff joins me like he does every single week. Tommy, 3 from 4 on the multi last week. We nearly had the hat trick. What happened?
Oh, I let us down, didn't I? I thought the Swans were a good thing. I thought they'd turn the corner. I thought they'd get the better of the Pies, but they just didn't. Collingwood was impressive. So we go again, though. We lick our wounds and we move on. But 3 from 4, we've been pretty consistent.
We're close. That's the main thing. You sat here last week and put a line through a handful of teams. Have you changed your mind on any after gather round?
No. Or maybe the only one is you're probably a bit more sure about Collingwood potentially. I think Sydney they may have swapped in that bracket, but I had them alive to play 7-8. I mean, the other teams from the weekend, there's no one else you could, like Carlton beat nothing. Melbourne, they're gone.
Yep.
They're genuinely
You've been
gone.
saying that since round 1, basically.
Genuinely gone. I think the Saints are better again, but then I can't put Port Adelaide back in, but their best footy is as good as anyone. But it's their worst footy, which we've seen for the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. So, I mean, their first half was as good footy as you'll see against a really informed team and a good team, Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Incredible round of footy, but I think gather round, it was an amazing round for everyone again.
Lots to talk about, and we'll start with the back-to-back loss club, and that features the Adelaide Crows and the Western Bulldogs. So the Crows now sitting 7th, back-to-back losses to the Suns and the Cats. We were pretty keen on them at the start of the year, but the last couple of weeks, some big question marks coming through. They're now averaging 10 goals against on average. They weren't on your list last week, and I don't think you're going to put a line through them just yet. But no answer for Jezza Cameron last week. No answer for Paddy Dangerfield. Looked a little bit slow through the midfield at times to me. Where do you see the Crows finishing this year?
No, I think they'll still play finals. I think you can make excuses for them, and as much as it hurts me, I can make excuses for them the last 2 weeks. I think 6-day break, really hot in Adelaide, 6-day break to the Gold Coast, another really hot day, the middle of the day, into a 5-day break against a red-hot Cats who they had them up against the wall in that first half. The Crows just couldn't sustain it for the 4 quarters. So I'm still a wrap for them and what they can do for the year. Their defence, I think, is a little bit shaky. I think no Nick Murray, I don't think he's there at the moment. So maybe you can straighten them up a little bit, but they leak goals, but they can score heavily. So I'm not too concerned about it. You'd like to see their defence as a system tighten up somewhat, but I think across the board they've got enough to play finals footy this year.
Another home game coming up this week for Adelaide as well. You can still take $3 for them to miss the top 8, so there's a little bit of value there if punters want to jump on and disagree with us.
You'd be a brave man to disagree with this at the moment.
You would. The Bulldogs dropping to 12th. They've suffered back-to-back losses. Really good in the first half against Brisbane last week, then just fell away, missed opportunities in front of goal. We always talk about that when it comes to the Dogs and their pressure. Really dropped off in that second half. The road ahead, though, is tough. So they got the Saints, they got the Giants in Canberra, Port and Ballarat, then they got the Suns in Darwin. $1.77 about the Dogs to miss the 8. Would you entertain that?
Yeah, you certainly would. They're going to get the best player in the competition back in a period of time, Marcus Bontempelli. But at this point in time, they're just so inconsistent. They have been for a number of years now. I think they've probably got the best forward in the competition, potentially the best midfielder once he comes back. I think he's the best player in the competition. He has been for a few years, Bontempelli. And then their defence is actually a bit more settled with Lobb sort of leading that charge down there. But they're just up and down. You don't know what you're going to get. So I think, I think they're going to struggle to play finals.
If they play finals, are you going to dye the hair blue?
No, I'm not going on the record. No, not blue. But I'm not making any outlandish bets. I'm just about getting our multi up. But I think they'll struggle to make the finals.
Okay. Let's look ahead to Easter Thursday. We've got the Lions taking on the Pies, top 4 clash. Brisbane very short at $1.50, and you expect that when they're playing at the Gabba. The Pies won this clash last year, and they've won the last 3 against Brisbane dating back to the granny in 2023. We've spoken about Brisbane's slow starts. That was the case again last week, but the Pies are guilty of the same thing. They've only won 2 of their 5 first quarters so far. With Collingwood, though, they don't look like they can score all the time. They've been a bit of a low-scoring team this year. They rank towards the bottom of the comp in points. Do you think Collingwood can keep up with Brisbane on the scoreboard here?
I think they can. 5-day break again. I mean, they're cherry ripe for the taking, the Brisbane Lions at the moment. Hot contest again against the Dogs. 5-day break, but Little one for the punters. I don't even know if you can do it. I'm sure you could on Ned's. One of the great betting apps is unders first half, overs full time. I think the first half, what you're going on, the stats that we've seen, they both start really slow. So a bit of an arm wrestle early and then it'll open up at the Gabba. I think there'll be some tired legs out there. So I see a bit of value around Collingwood at, I think, the $2.50, $2.60 mark as we sit here on a Monday afternoon. I think there's a bit of value about that. Whether they can sustain it for 4 quarters. Brisbane are impressive when they get going. They're hard to stop. Eric Hipwood finds a bit of form, but I don't think it'd be the worst bet of the weekend to have a little flutter on Collingwood.
Do you think they tag Lockie Neal? That's always the big question. He's averaged about 27 touches against the Pies over his last 5 games. How do they combat that?
Probably not. I think they'll go head to head. It depends what do they do with Dacos. Like it'll be a fascinating matchup if you'd assume Dunkley probably gets a job. Maybe a Berry goes inside to Dacos and follows him everywhere. So if you've got that matchup and then you've got a Lockie Neal tag, potentially 2 tags through the midfield, I don't think we'll see it. I don't think you'll see Dacos run around freely, but I think it might be a bit of an open affair.
Well, fingers crossed. Speaking of open affairs, we got a $13 multi this week. We've already touched on what went wrong last week. You took Geelong to win, and that was a good start for us. Sydney let us down against the Pies. I was so brave taking the Blues head-to-head against West Coast.
I had to go for some value on Thursday and Friday night.
And then I had the Giants to cover against St Kilda, which also got up. This week, though, what do you got for me?
Well, I'm going to go to the MCG, I think it is, or maybe is it the MC? No, Marvel. Richmond at Marvel. So I think the Gold Coast Suns, they'll alternate handicap -35.5. I think they'll win that one by 6 goals. We know Dimmer used to hate going there as a Richmond coach. I don't know whether he still hates going there, but I think the Suns will get it done and get it done pretty convincingly. And then I'm going to take the Saints head-to-head.
Like this a lot.
To get the Dogs done at 2.35. I think we've seen enough from St Kilda against the Giants on the weekend. Giants are a good team. I have them right up there this season. But I think St Kilda have turned the corner playing some good footy at 2.35. Yeah. You got to throw that in your multi against the Dogs. It's
a steal, and you said it beautifully just there. The Giants are a good team. $2 against the Adelaide Crows. I'm going to throw that in for all the reasons we've just mentioned. And then Easter Monday, the Cats and the Hawks, always a tight game, and it's going to be that way this year with Hawthorn looking to bounce back. Give me a try bet, either team by less than 24.5. You're getting about $1.60 for that one. So I've thrown that in. We're getting $13.68 for those 4 legs. So let's see if we can at least go close again, mate.
3 out of 4, 75% is not bad.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website